Up being Azir, still going to be dropped off the table, never allowing Bjergsen to play this champion, and something that Huhi has not learned to play or counter, at least not to their liking. No Soraka all 5 games for Aphromoo either, and I don't expect these bans to change very much. The question is what's going to be first pick worthy, and with Nidalee off the table, it means they're looking for, I'm guessing, Poppy.
Yeah,
I think you can't first pick Caitlyn.
Also not seen a series revolve this much around Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Ever in the last year. You know, there's so many other strong AD carries right now.
So much of the focus really has been on DoubleLift and Stixxay.
Yeah.
Trying to battle against each other, and most of the time DoubleLift has come out on top.
Look at the difference in facial expressions, though. You would see in Xmithie sort of slumping in his chair, hand on his head, kind of really down on himself, and the rest of TSM's like swiveling around, looking at each other, talking really actively. Visually, CLG's mindset does not seem to be as sharp as TSM's here as the bans come through. Nothing unsurprising that much about CLG. Poppy going away from TSM's side.
Okay.
So now...
Ekko.
Yeah,
Ekko.
Kindred and Graves are a trade.
Last junk.
Ekko's only a CLG side champion. Caitlyn actually, at this stage of the game, is almost first pickable.
I think so, but I think Ekko is higher value.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Even play it.
Here's the thing. Like, you can take a Kindred, but Graves is actually quite good into Kindred as well. So the jungle right now is kind of a wash with Nidalee off the board, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, if they pick Ekko, it also gives Huhi the flexibility and the guarantee that they're going to get to play it. And I know TSM doesn't seem to prioritize it, but
Right.
there's a... I still think Hauntzer can play it. I know Hauntzer can play it.
Yeah, he definitely does. The question is, which matchup do CLG want with this one? Talking back and forth, it comes down to what Stixxay feels comfortable doing, and the Ekko is the one after all. So you guys are right. Ekko the first pick for CLG.
If I had to guess what the conversation was about, it was whether or not CLG wanted to risk TSM picking it, because they weren't sure if they were going to want it, but CLG knows they want it.
Yeah.
It's been in both of their wins.
Yeah. And there's Caitlyn Kindred. No big surprise there. It will leave Graves up for Xmithie if Xmithie wants to play it. Otherwise, he goes somewhere farther down the jungle list here. I don't expect this TSM lineup to change, though. I think those two are the lock-ins. But time is a resource that you have access to. 25 more seconds to think, okay, if we do grab these, what's their next round? Are they taking something else that we really, really care about here? In CLG's case, last game, they grabbed Elise that was uncontested and let the Caitlyn be grabbed away. And sure enough, there's TSM picking up those two champions. And I believe everyone saw those coming. The Ekko was the big choice that CLG had, and they have to hope they made the right choice here.
Do you totally flip the script and go for something to completely try and throw TSM off here and steal away the Gragas that Hauntzer's been going for? Also be able to try and displace Svenskeren with the Kindred?
Yeah.
You can even take the Lulu away.
I mean, you can... There's so many options.
He's Lulu play. He also has played a lot of the Blanc during the regular season, if we're wondering like what he has to blind pick. Or they can just pick the Ekko in mid lane. They already have it, and then throw Darshan onto, I think, probably Gragas, and then Xmithie on some other jungler. There's just too many options for CLG currently. And you can tell they're
come through.
spending a lot of time discussing it.
No, actually, it's the Alistar takeaway that YellowStar had played for a lot of the series now. Elise still what Xmithie wants to play if Nidalee's off the table.
So what they're doing here, these are two picks from CLG that they don't really care about. These are kind of throwaway picks as far as the priority ones. They want to make TSM show one of their solo lanes.
Yep.
So they can try and counterpick one of the solo lanes. But TSM can, as long as it's a flex pick, still keep them guessing.
Yeah, but what is left to flex between mid and top lane that's actually in meta right now?
Lulu.
Trundle, Lissandra.
Technically, you can flex
They
the
can
top
flex
lane.
the Trundle to
Graves.
support for sure. And also, you have to keep in mind the champion pools of TSM. It's going to be tricky. These seem the most logical for them. Tank support for YellowStar. Gragas yet again for Hauntzer. TSM is sticking with generally what got them here. The question will be if CLG switches it up or if they also go with the standard for this all-important Game 5.
I actually quite like the Braum pickup here for TSM as well. Even though CLG technically stole away this Alistar, which YellowStar has really liked, Braum is so good in these siege situations where he can both offensively use Unbreakable to push up onto a turret, but he can also protect minion waves, which is so rare.
And unless CLG picks Lulu here, I think TSM take it.
Yeah.
They have the back line for it. They have, that would even out their damage profile.
Yeah.
Balance it with magic.
Bjergsen could look to make it 3 wins in a row on Lulu if that is the case. CLG, knowing that's on the table,
What are they going to do?
they have to decide if they need to take that one away. They need to pick an 80
What
carry.
about a Lulu Sivir?
Oh!
The Trist?
Oh,
The
the
Trist
Tristana's
comes back.
back for Stixxay.
Ginsu's Trist?
Do we see the Rage Blade come out again?
I think we do.
The 3-time banned Tristana against Liquid. Brought it out once with the loss, but it wasn't his fault. Lulu does get stolen as well. That wasn't Lissandra after all.
On hit
Stixxay.
Trist.
Stixxay is going to be the 1-1v5 this game.
That
This
would
is
be
probably
what
tank
they're putting
Ekko, mid
their
Lulu.
cards in.
Is it a 1v5 if you have a Lulu behind you?
I mean, like, it's hyperbole, obviously.
Yes.
And
Oh
Corki
my
mid
God.
comes through for
Alright.
Bjergsen, not being allowed to play Lulu, of course. So CLG, I think, making some smart choices. I like.
I'm so glad that it
Tristana.
comes down to this, too.
Yes.
The highly criticized, special Rage Blade Tristana for CLG that was even banned against them.
I'd forgotten
It got
about
banned
it.
early in the playoffs.
3 straight bans by Liquid. They were loath to drop it. CLG grabbed
When
it.
they did take it, the game wasn't the...
It wasn't Stixxay's fault. They were getting wrecked elsewhere.
It wasn't the Tristana's fault. It was a failed game.
But it fell flat on its face, and they never spoke of it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Until now.
Until now.
Until Game 5 of the finals, when not only do they take the Tristana for surprise into a Caitlyn matchup, which is going to be tough, but then they also throw
They're all in
Huhi
on
onto
this.
Lulu.
Yeah.
They are all in on this pick.
On Stixxay, their freshman AD carry, grabbed fresh off their otherwise challenger squad of CLG Black. He had a mediocre performance there, grabbed it in the main squad to replace DoubleLift, and now it's all in his hands to win the final.
In game number 3, CLG played around him, committing ganks down bottom. They got the extra jungle start. So much went into that game, and Stixxay rewarded them in the end. Now is when it all counts, though. Game number 5.
With
It'll be
Rage
fun.
Blade Hurricane
Well,
Tristana.
okay.
Huh?
What would be hilarious is if there's a extra twist at the end and he just goes a standard Tristana.
Yeah,
No
just
Rage
like,
Blade.
just
Or
kidding,
like
guys.
say the anti-hype.
Rapid fire cannon. Well, here we are, everybody. Game 5. It's all come down to this. Let us know who it's going to be. Will it be TSM? Will it be Counter Logic Gaming? Right now, we are looking to crown the North American champion.
And Aphromoo even said at the start of the day, he's looking forward to seeing who wins so they know who is right about whether or not they should have DoubleLift or not on the team. Imagine the conversation around Rageblade Trist if it does or does not work in Game 5 of the finals.
After TSM have made this adaptation to make it a priority to steal Caitlyn away from Stixxay. DoubleLift does get the first shot off there, so guess we answered that question.
All right. Early damage.
I feel like we got to see lane swaps in this game as well. We've been kind of lulled into these standard lanes with the Caitlyn picks, but you'd think CLG would be trying to get a blind swap off. They don't have deep wards.
Yeah. I think Caitlyn Braum's not the scariest duo lane. In terms of surviving a lane, I think CLG can. It just depends how much TSM can push. It's pretty rough last hitting under turret as Tristana. And you're seeing TSM make the late swap. You see DoubleLift walking late to the top lane, hoping to surprise CLG with his choice of lane. But CLG
Yeah, they're
keeping
gonna crash
Tristana
into
in
each
the
other.
mid lane, hoping to get that information himself. Walks topside also.
This will be a big question. As soon as the Caitlyn Braum are revealed, will Stixxay double back, or are they just going to get late invaded on this Gromp? They should have seen them.
They are.
Yeah.
They were spotted doing this. And CLG, are they going to wait around the wall for a pulverize?
No.
Are they going to loop back around? Are they going to find nothing? TSM actually don't know who's there other than the fact there was no jungle start.
I think TSM gets the lane they want.
And yeah, we get equal lanes. DoubleLift checks the brush with a Q, sees that no one's in there, feels safe to walk up.
Junglers both starting on the bottom side as well. They can end their routes. Double buff level 3 up in the top lane. Double melee supports both with potential
Nice. And
to
you're
help
seeing
those ganks early on.
the harass pattern for Tristana, by the way, if you guys don't know, is you actually get a Caspian down to 1 hit, and then you E-auto attack it. And it blows up, the charge blows up, and the explosive shot passive blows up, all hitting the nearby AD carry. And you saw Stixxay do that exactly once. Then YellowStar healed him with a relic shield stack, and it meant nothing. But
Later it might matter.
later it'll matter when it starts doing more damage. Fervor on both the AD carries.
All 3 of the AD carries.
Yeah, true. You're right. Well, I use AD carry as the position of marksman as the champion, but yeah, all 3 marksmen running forever.
Sure, that's fair.
I don't know, it's a random point I like to make. Level 2 now picked up for CLG. Rocket jump learned by Stixxay to make sure he can stay alive, and meanwhile Aphromoo did go headbutt, so CLG might look to make an aggressive play pretty early on here.
It would definitely be a possibility. As we said, both junglers know that each other are going to be up there. So oftentimes you want to try and get bush control for that.
And we know that TSM is going to be playing very aggressive with the Caitlyn. They try to
Their
go for
first
that. There they go.
Flash, pulverize, headbutt, cocoon, damage output. How about a good start with the first blood for Stixxay?
Wow.
Talk about setting up this Rage Blade Trist for success. Last time, Game 3, they played around him. This time, Xmithie with the early gank as well.
I do have to call out TSM for that they were too far up. They knew the jungle timing. Svenskeren opted not to back them up to be pushed up that far, and CLG just does a very standard lane gank with Elise Alistar to get that kill. So very well executed onto CLG, but Svenskeren should have been there if YellowStar was going to be up this far.
It's so easy to call that as well. Bottom lane, both of the solo bottom laners.
Watch this though, it's Huhi in a 1v2. Svenskeren getting some damage to the flash cocoon's not gonna land, but here comes Darshan, looking to turn it around, gets the backside, and that's gonna be 2 kills for CLG Gaming with double buffs on Darshan.
Buffs for CLG.
Woo! It goes from bad to worse for Svenskeren. He's not there to counter Xmithie's gank, so he tries to counter jungle, and CLG is way ahead of him. They call him, they catch him, they get the double buffs, and they're up 2 kills to none.
Oh my god. Darshan on the Ekko with double buffs now is going to be such a pain for Hauntzer.
He's got even 2 stacks in the Dark
Yeah.
Seal. Oh man, this couldn't go any better for Ekko.
Hey man, those 2 stacks are no joke.
6 AP, right?
Yeah, it's
Hey, that matters.
It does.
It matters here.
Yeah,
It
wait for
definitely
him
does.
to tick someone out. It will be with all these micro
Here's
trades
this.
they've taken lane.
Yeah, the red buff damage, the infinite mana, the
at that.
cooldown reduction. Hauntzer will have to recall here. And to be fair, he hadn't recalled yet, so he gets his first set of builds, but...
Yeah, but you can't even really bail him out now.
No.
It's so dangerous, especially since Darshan has the early pink ward in the tri-bush. Elise, it's very, very scary for Kindred to walk into Fog of War like that, already being down. Extra ward's going to be coming from Xmithie, actually.
Yeah. And a lot of AP on
factors.
Hauntzer. Dark Seal and Doran's Ring with his Corrupting Potion, so that'll be fun to watch for. Xmithie was getting out-farmed early game. No surprise to be against a Kindred, but still, those ganks, of course, mean quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Xmithie also went for the early gank, whereas Svenskeren went for the hard farm with the Kindred.
Not going to be sad about that.
Yeah.
And actually, Xmithie missed the assist on the Svenskeren kill. He never landed a cocoon or anything, but he was around when that had gone down. So he was, in some way, even if unofficially, involved with both kills.
They also get to control that Scuttle Crab mark as well.
Yeah, Svenskeren definitely made a few decisions that did not turn out well for the team, but he has a gold advantage. This is
could
huge
look great.
trouble.
Cocoon lands. Exhaust forced out of YellowStar. Does still have flash, but pushed out of his jungle.
Look at that patience and communication there between Aphro and Xmithie as well. Xmithie just waiting, not revealing himself until Aphro can perfectly set up that combo. Xmithie gets off the damage first, layers the stun, and they're rewarded with an exhaust, prepping for the dive.
There's the ward over the wall. CLG are spotted in this one.
With no exhaust, they have to really respect the Alistar, Elise, and Trist dive. The Tristana burst at this point of the game is very respectable, and
So
it's a big lead for Stixxay now.
Svenskeren's Kindred is counter-juggling the bot lane, the bot side jungle, while this top lane shenanigans are happening right here. So he is getting some farm for himself, and it also means that he can threaten Darshan, who's flashless.
Darshan is level 6 though as well, and has teleport.
So look at the respect he gives. He knows there's still some danger there and gives it away completely. Will lose a couple waves under the turret and lose some turret health as well. Roughly exactly what TSM's losing on the top side.
That is mirrored. I feel like CLG gets a little more of this because they're focusing the Tristana lane, and that's their main focus in this composition. It's all going to be about getting Stixxay ahead to the Rage Blade, buff him up with the Lulu. And Darshan already got off to a good start. He's got his kill money, so he's just fine. Even gets right back in there for an extra wave, so Darshan's actually going to keep his minion lead after that.
That's big. And Stixxay, because he got the first blood kill, he got a pickaxe on the recall, makes it much easier to knock this turret down. Demolitionist Tristana.
DoubleLift would have thought he's recalled by this point.
They have Ward seeing this too.
They're going for it.
Going for the play. The slow is landed, but now YellowStar's going to tank this one up with the shield in front. Flash burn, but there's the flank. The double TP yet again for CLG Gaming in Game 5. You can't write it any better than this. this.
Talk about focusing all resources into Stixxay here. CLG show up with everybody, all hands on deck in the top lane. That does mean that TSM can push out the other lanes, but that's not going to be enough.
There's pressure on the other lanes, but it's so early, and it does seem like CLG could run down. What a beautiful play once again by CLG. They have been calling TSM again and again and punishing them for their decisions. DoubleLift is not having a good time, and the Rageblade Trist is coming.
Early lead here for Tristana, and she can start it off.
Yeah, both people teleporting onto the same ward. Not that it really matters. TSM was pretty dead.
I mean, it's technically their signature move now.
Yeah.
CLG
one doesn't like them.
Yeah, they do it almost every game now.
And the thing is,
all the time.
TSM knew it was there. There was already a Caitlyn trap under that trinket ward. Like, they saw it get put down. It was like, guys, they can TP flank this.
Yeah.
And Double still walked up and got rocket jumped on. Rough stuff here.
Yeah.
CLG with a sizable lead now, 2,000 gold up. And all the pressure to try to get Stixxay ahead is certainly happening. There's the blasting one. It is going to be Rageblade.
Yep.
Darshan also, though, 3-0 with 6 stacks and a Dark Seal.
Yeah, that's the huge thing.
Man.
We say it's been top lane focus up towards Stixxay, but Darshan has been the beneficiary of so much of this. The attempted counter jungle by Svenskeren gave him the double buffs. That double TP gave him 2 more kills. So he's been the one with the largest gold advantage over his opponent. 1,200 gold ahead of Hauntzer already.
1,200 gold and 6 stacks on the ring.
That added value.
Yep. All right, well, Hauntzer's got to try to lick those wounds and keep up as close as he can despite his giant gold deficit. Bjergsen farming up as well as he can on the Corki.
Yeah. TSM now in that mode where everyone just says, okay, relax, farm for late. Because they're in a pretty big hole right now. They don't want to force to the issue. Just try and see if they can grab some farm and wait it out. Try and punish some mistakes. Maybe CLG will overstep. And they can use the package. That is a big playmaking ability as far as countering CLG initiation.
Aphro tries to save the pink ward, can't really do so. YellowStar knocks that one down. Rageblade completed for Stixxay.
Yeah, it is times like these where, as the team that is behind, you need to focus on where you were still ahead. Bjergsen has 100 CS in the mid lane. When he has Trinity Force, he should look to make a play. And even though Svenskeren hasn't had successful ganks, he's been farming really hard. And once he completes his Devour, looking to get kills and stack up the Devour that way would be TSM's best way back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, Svenskeren's got a 2-level lead over Xmithie because of the focus that Xmithie has been putting on the bottom lane.
He's
on the
not
duo
farming.
lane.
So you got to keep that in mind, what can be done. Right now, Svenskeren at only 1 Kindred mark and about 1 Devourer stack after this camp. He just completed the item, so this is his first.
Farm for late, boys.
Sven is going to be one of the bigger people in this game. He's actually got more gold than either his top laner or his AD carry right now. So this is the man to really watch for physical damage output. Triple marksman TSM with 2 tanks in the front. And one of these marksmen getting denied, the other 2 doing okay.
Yeah, but with the 2 tanks in the front, they are going to get run over if they can't catch up in this game.
Yes.
YellowStar is 0-2. Hauntzer is most likely going to get outpaced heavily by Darshan once Darshan starts completing some of these items. So really, it's Svenskeren who needs to be able to get some of those tanks back in the game if they want to set up standard teamfight lines.
There's 5 sated stacks right there for Sven.
That's big. That'll definitely help.
Feels good. 7.
Yep. Now, it's also worth keeping in mind, any sort of Rageblade build does have a fall-off. You're not getting that same sort of crit synergy that an Infinity Edge Hurricane would. So, in terms of getting through those big, beefy tanks, Stixxay is going to need more gold than he would have otherwise on Caitlyn to actually make that sort of damage pacing happen.
It's also going to be a fair bit of magic damage coming out of CLG. Like with the picks damage that goes on top of Stixxay, the itemization would be fairly heavily tilted towards being magic. Makes it a little easier for the tanks to itemize.
A little bit of damage on Aphromoo, doesn't seem to care too much though, as he just triumphantly roars and puts his health back up. And look at the damage output here. Chunk goes the turret, and that will be 2 outer turrets now for CLG, putting that Tristana in a lane that she can kill a turret with, and using that to balloon a mid-game lead.
Using her like a demolitionist.
Like a
that she
demolition. I
is.
said that earlier, don't worry. I got you covered
So
on
quickly, and it's because they always have the proper jungle pressure with them. It's cost Xmithie 30 CS, but it's winning them the game. In a meta where jungle farming is so heavily valued, Xmithie has kind of flipped the script once again and just totally camped a lane. But because his ganks have been successful, you see why people used to do that style so frequently.
Right, of course.
Because it can still work very well.
And he found the right players to gank for, of course. The flash pulverize for the first blood, and then the double TP into the top side afterwards. But definitely some good plays here. And we'll see how much more CLG can get out of this one. Pink wards once again added to their inventories, as Huhi is down a bit, but not insurmountably so in this mid lane matchup, farm-wise. Xmithie also with a very utility-focused build once again, going for the Tracker's Knife, also finishing Boots of Lucidity before getting into the completed jungle enchant. Really valuing summoner spell cooldowns and just cycling his CC in general. Zerker's Greaves in the beginning of a Hurricane now coming in for Stixxay. So again, a very attack speed, on-hit focused build.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like to see here from CLG is to get the push priority in their side lanes first, and then turn their attention towards this mid lane. They're the ones with the Alistar this time. They're the ones with the AD carry who's spiking now, whereas Caitlyn's trying to build crit. But TSM have already moved DoubleLift into the mid lane to wave clear and try and set up traps and dissuade them from that strategy. Svenskeren also making his appearance.
And Aphro showing himself as well, but doesn't quite get tagged too terribly low. Down to half HP, cutting away from the Wolf, and he's going to be okay here. But there's always going to be the risk of a big play happening. Trinity Force down on Corki, and the risk of explosive cast can always stay in your mind. Once again, Aphromoo getting pushed around. Cocoon doesn't mean too much on a Svenskeren. Darshan also is not really pushing any kind of a lead. For having 3 kills, he's got the mini wave pushed up, but he's not getting a farm lead over Hauntzer.
And that is kind of what I was looking for in the mid game here, but Huhi also has the bottom lane in a decent position. Teleports are both ready. But if CLG misstep and they go for a dive and they throw it at the dive, they botch this, TSM gets right back in this game. Kindred snowballs like hell.
Yeah, 18 stacks now on Devourer, 2 stacks for Mark of the Kindred.
Definitely still farming hard. I feel like CLG can really turn it on once Stixxay gets his Hurricane. That's going to be, I think, their highest point of power. Huhi on 2 items, Stixxay on 2 items, and it will be Darshan about half an item to a full item ahead of Hauntzer. And even though CLG has a lot of opportunity to split push, if they just grouped and shoved once they hit those power spikes, I think they take full control of the game.
Looking for the play right now. Ekko stun comes in, and explosive charge onto the turret. Knocks it down to about 2/3 here. You can see that as long as they're given those 4 seconds to auto attack, CLG can get some meaningful damage on that.
Oh yeah, package came in. So good job by CLG backing off there.
And a few recalls come in as well. Both Elise and Alistar heading back to the base to grab their new items. Completed upgraded Sightstone now for Aphromoo. Eye of the Equinox is in. Yeah, playing for the ward control game.
And we also have to remember, this is the highest pressure game. It's game 5 of the finals with the championship on the line. So the normal play patterns can't necessarily be fully relied upon, right? Like, you can't expect a perfectly played closeout. You're going to see either people being more conservative or more risky depending on how they respond to the pressure. So far, TSM needs to be conservatively smart, not too scared, but willing to pull the trigger. One of the hardest things to do when you're under this much pressure in a game 5 and facing a deficit. Whereas CLG needs to be able to pull the trigger at the right time.
Yes. CLG have to make plays that have risks. You can't play League of Legends with 0 risk. You won't win games unless you're significantly better than your opponents. So it's up to which ones they're willing to take, which choices they'll make. 2,500 gold still keeps CLG in the lead as the gold keeps stacking up. 1,800 gold in the inventory of Stixxay right now. Also, Svenskeren still stacking up as well. 23 on Devourer, 3 on Mark of the Kindred. Now into the bot lane, the push towards Huhi. The flash comes in, the knockup's going to land. How long can Lulu live? Self-ult, and getting stunned again, and Bjergsen gets the kill.
Teleport in though, this is not done.
It's not done, but it's a 4v5. Let's see what CLG can do.
CLG is all here.
They're getting pushed around. Darshan getting hit up as well. How much can they gain from this one? The headbutt pulverize comes in for 2. Here's Stixxay, but here comes Svenskeren. Ulti back from Ekko, and TSM are back in. They're looking for Darshan. They're going to get Darshan. A shutdown for Svenskeren. 2 kills for TSM, and the chase continues. A bit more damage on the minions. CLG are routed.
That's exactly the type of play TSM was waiting for. Huhi pushes up in the split, there is no one to defend him, and YellowStar and Bjergsen are willing to go all in, flashing, ulting, finishing the kill.
TSM are right back in this. Here comes the teleport from CLG though.
Looking for the cocoon, not gonna land though. Huhi's teleport meant absolutely nothing, and even still, it's only a 4v5. Darshan's still dead. Hauntzer jumps over the wall. He's gonna be totally fine on this one. CLG are in position for the Dragon, so hey, gold still 1,300 apart, and the first Dragon now for CLG. TSM got one earlier, but this influx of stats will be nice. All said and done, 2 kills for TSM, 1 Dragon for CLG.
Yeah, definitely more interesting now after that set of events, though, with the Dragons being even, the gold being much more close.
Yep.
He's got a nice little sneak up and pretty much at the max range of Q. And I love how he flashed forward to get the ultimate and allow Bjergsen to finish off the kill.
Yeah, I'm actually curious why he went over towards that brush. Maybe he thought he had a ward and did not. Anyways, here's the answer, teleports.
And here CLG was here a lot before TSM was, so that's why Darshan was feeling so confident, but Bjergsen's able to dodge a lot of the damage, and the rest of it would just be right onto TSM's tanks.
Yeah. Darshan also ults out of the shield, doesn't quite get the stun, and still gets knocked back in. Split second there.
Suboptimally played team fight. He loses a lot of the Dark Seal stacks he had obtained.
And I think Stixxay hadn't bought yet as well. I mentioned 1,800 gold beforehand. I don't think he had bought. Now he's got the Hurricane though, so that's a big power spike. 2 items in for the CLG AD carry. Now a team fight would look a little bit better, but it wasn't what it was before.
Despite losing 2 kills, I still think CLG should group right here. The package as well as the pick potential of the Gragas is kind of what TSM wants, even though CLG is so comfortable in the 1-3-1. The grouping of Trist and Lulu is just so strong.
Yeah, that was a team fight, but it was a team fight without the Lulu, who he was dead on arrival.
We'll see if it looks better next time. 29 stacks on Svenskeren's Devourer now. He just got 2 off the Scuttle, so next camp he finds gives him that sated. Okay, YellowStar does not have flash, gets Xmithie, but look at the damage on a Huhi. Ulti popped in, dodged away. Look at the damage on a Stixxay though, doesn't get blocked by Aphromoo. The Alistar forced to run, challenging smite is on, true damage still ticking in from Svenskeren. Huhi looking for the play into Bjergsen, dodges the Glitter Lance though, and Elise repelling away. As Rift Herald
Darshan actually
respawns.
re-engaging on Hauntzer on this side, but it's tank on tank action.
CLG got heavily poked out. Hauntzer doesn't pull the trigger on the explosive cast, but CLG lost that fight. They've got to recall several members here.
You can feel they're losing a little bit of the confidence. Everybody's starting to get a little jittery here.
Yeah.
After that last team fight.
TSM know with those 2 kills picked up, they're going to feel much better. That included shutdown gold from killing off the formerly 3-0 Darshan. YellowStar blocking away and walking out of this one, but now the turret is under fire. CLG staying around. The deep stun comes out and it will force TSM back, and finally another turret comes through. CLG up 3 turrets to 0.
Now it's on them to set up these wards. Try and find TSM as they're moving between their own jungle. Svenskeren's been constantly cleaning his own jungle, just back and forth. CLG are in the position to get those deeper wards and cut them off.
Yeah, he hit sated as well 21 minutes in, so got it a little bit before then. The triple marksman in the fight is very respectful DPS, respectable DPS.
Oh, for sure.
So CLG would need some pretty good initiations. The Trist is getting put to the test right now. I'm waiting for a fight where you can actually get the setup and you can actually get the Ginsu stacking and get Lulu with the picks to trigger all the on-hits that they're going for.
He just needs uptime. His team has plenty of playmaking as well, of course. Headbutt, Pulverize, Cocoon, and then an Ekko, Parallel Convergence follow-up. All are good tools for getting into a fight. Huhi can facilitate that. Stixxay can certainly participate with Buster Shot and more. Well, TSM have been the team that's looking better right now. Maw of Malmortius now done for Svenskeren with the Sated Devourer, Sunfire Cape, and now starting an Iceborne Gauntlet for Hauntzer, and the Hurricane and Most of Infinity Edge in for DoubleLift as well.
Yeah, I actually think the TSM, if this game goes long, should have Maw of Malmortius or Mercurial Scimitar on every single one of their marksmen, maybe both, just because the damage is going to be so heavily slanted towards magic for CLG. If they stay alive, they have more DPS than CLG would in teamfights.
Yeah, and I think the next item for Stixxay is going to end up being Blade of the Ruin King, if I had to guess, doing an attack speed focused Hurricane build. So if you're doing shield items with resists, you don't take any more damage from Rune King than you would have otherwise. The Sterix pops when you're at 1/3, and you just sit there laughing at percent current health damage. It makes it hard. We'll see if anything more can happen. CLG roaming back and forth. Their only turrets available are tier 2, though. Maybe the next Dragon that spawns in 125, but this has slowed down quite a lot as CounterLogic Gaming have run out of objectives to fight for.
Yeah, I think they're in their power spike right now, too. This is where CLG needs to be accumulating a huge advantage because TSM is going to be hitting Infinity Edge on both Corki and Caitlyn fairly shortly. So
600 gold
the longer this stays at 4 kills to 2 and 3 turrets to 0, the happier TSM is.
400 gold apiece, roughly, for the Infinity Edge power spikes. 400 to 600 based on who you are. And that's only a few minutes away. And that's what TSM's going to want. They might have to sacrifice this next Dragon because of that. I think those are important item spikes through for those two marksmen. But everyone else can feel pretty comfortable here. Iceborne Gauntlet, Sunfire done for Darshan. He is definitely ahead of what Hauntzer has because of those early kills, but has not had much to show for it here.
Yeah.
Teleports all back up for everyone. Now Darshan once again in the fight and not really looking that pretty, and he's actually down a
lot
level.
of pings going down here in the jungle as TSM are making their way, trying to chase each other out. DoubleLift and Svenskeren actually chase Aphromoo off, trying to get some wards in there. But TSM defend their pinks.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I feel like CLG is committing super hard to this 1-3-1 strategy, but it's not been able to grant them anything. Unless Darshan or Huhi can get an edge in their solo matchups, they're just allowing TSM to stall.
Yeah, and again, TSM, we get closer and closer to a very scary team fight from them. They can rely on the Kindred ultimate to protect all 3 AD carries, and they're the ones with the Gragas. So CLG can't even try and push onto the Kindred ultimate and force them off, because Hauntzer will just push them back with the ultimate.
Yep. Well, CLG had mid lane control first. Dragon's on the map, and here comes the team down towards the river. Everyone's alive. The recall came through for Darshan. Has fully bought what he can. Headbutt pulverize doesn't mean much, but now the Cocoon and YellowStar means a hell of a lot. They almost get the kill. It's close. The shield is on. He's going to run away, and he will stay alive, but that was a lot of damage on the TSM support.
Stixxay front and center here with the Rage Blade. Huhi right behind him.
Yeah, that's well played. Now on towards the backside. DoubleLift getting hit pretty hard by the Ekko. Darshan running out of health. He'll look to ult eventually, but now it's the push onto Hauntzer. Explosive cast back. Gets away from the headbutt just barely, but now having to run into the brush, into his base.
Resets waiting to happen there. Stixxay getting them very low, but nobody goes down from TSM.
There's actually a really important mechanic I want to talk about before it happens, because I'll bet you it does.
All right.
Tristana's explosive charge. If the 4th hit gets taken from Buster Shot, it won't explode till after the knockback. So if you ever charge it up on someone in Kindred ulti, they'll get knocked back out of the ulti and then blow up outside the ring. We should see that happen at some point.
I'm also surprised that TSM even thought about contesting that Dragon because of their stall, and they need the Infinity Edge on both of their marksmen, whereas CLG, I think, is amidst their most potent power spike this game, and you almost saw those resets come through. I think TSM is lucky to escape that alive, and CLG was right to bait the fight and go hard for it.
We'll see if they go back for this one, though. A little bit of damage taken because of the Dragon. After half HP, TSM looking to siege mid lane. Triforce Corki definitely good at demolishing buildings. But the wave is cleared thanks to a Hurricane Tristana. She's real good at that, by the way. It's going to be okay. Headshot hurts Stixxay a bit. Every trap he steps on would put Headshot back up, and DoubleLift will get plenty of damage. So he'll kite back for now. Red buff goes on to Svenskeren in this Game 5. For the title of North American Champion and the trip to the Mid-Season Invitational. It's been a tense 26 minutes.
This is honestly going to crack wide open at an explosive team fight. And I think that CLG should try and create an advantageous situation for that team fight to occur on their terms, since they're the one with the double teleport this time around. Bjergsen has to rely on package to cover a lot of ground across this map. If Corki doesn't have that up, CLG can work around that window, try and create a situation where Darshan, as well as Huhi, get the minion waves in their favor, and then try and collapse.
Seems like the wave clear is just so matched between the teams in general. Darshan hasn't been able to kill Hauntzer.
Oof. Better damage on a Stixxay. Has to kite back on that one.
Yeah, they want to keep Huhi next to Stixxay at all times, though, so it's going to be a 1-4 split push.
Once again, there's a lot of money on Stixxay. 1,800 again on this Tristana, which should be enough to buy whatever item he's looking for, or at least get very close to it. It might actually be Essence Reaver if those items are going together. I don't
so
want
hard to push through a line of Caitlyn traps as well. So CLG is trapped here because they haven't sieged early enough before the double Infinity edges have gone up, and their 1-3-1 also hasn't been working very well.
It's very difficult because you want to spread the map to try and pull TSM across, you know, make Caitlyn pick up her traps and move across, but you also want to keep your Lulu next to your AD carry. Yeah. All right, they're going to make the call. They actually separate for now.
Once again.
Back to the 1-3-1, back to the 1-4, back to the 1-3-1. Teleport up for Huhi, not up for Darshan. Caitlyn ult slowly wearing down Stixxay's health pool. And if he does go Bloodthirst, it's a DPS loss, but it will let him stay at full health for all of these fights and all this Caitlyn
package has arrived.
And it's up for Bjergsen. Again, outer turrets all available for TSM to kill. The fact that they're so close in gold, despite being down 2 kills and 3 turrets, means they've got a lot of farm and a lot of room to grow in this game.
And the Infinity Edge, the Infinity Edges have come in for all parties. That means Stixxay as well.
Okay, he did get an after all. Sold the longsword, got the item in. So this is good because it means that Stixxay will do plenty of team fight damage.
Exactly. It moves him back towards a real physical damage dealer. He's still going to have high attack speed, and he's going to be able to multiply his crits. So it's kind of the Rage Blade was the one-off for the early game power, I suppose, and the rest of it's going to be pretty standard AD carry from the looks of it.
Okay, well, CLG hoping that's going to be enough for them as they keep pushing forward. Top outer turret did go down, though, so some gold clawing back in for TSM. Only a 1,000 gold game here. DoubleLift still getting a lot of the farm, but actually just matching Hauntzer in CS numbers. It's Bjergsen who has all the gold.
Yep, CLG can't manage to create that situation where they get the advantage on minion waves. TSM have so many tools here. Hauntzer, even though he's been down since the start of this game, you know, after those kills went over to Darshan, Hauntzer held up in his lane. He's always been able to hold the lane.
Yeah, huge credit to him on this Gragas. He knows that he can take it to neutralize whatever Darshan's been able to play, and he's done it throughout this series. And the longer this game goes, now 29 minutes and 30 seconds in, with only a 1,000 gold difference, the higher the chance is that one giant fight could decide the whole game.
And the more clear it will be, is Rageblade Tristana actually good?
That's true.
Yeah.
He's got enough
I feel
gold.
like this is going to be a good test, the first team fight here.
And watch someone just gets one shot. Just perfect Gragas ulti.
And the thing is, with the pressure now and the way that CLG is continually trying to spread out the map, like one bad decision could also do it. It couldn't even be about whether or not Rageblade Trish is good.
Come on, man, don't do that to me.
I want to see.
Just denying your storyline.
Good.
All right, well, here we go. Looking again at the mid lane, TSM. The gold's close enough, and they've got a Caitlyn, they've got a Corki. These champions are good at this sort of work. As they push in, looking to zone people away. YellowStar Cocoon.
Unbreakable being down is actually pretty big. You know, Braum stepping in front of the Tristana is pretty much the only defense that TSM have. They kind of have YellowStar sacrificing himself to try and cut off that range damage, but it's a limited amount of time.
CLG was finally in defense mode for a split second there. They've been on the offensive for so long, and TSM left the safety of their turrets. But that's short-lived. They're right back there because their waves are pushing.
Yeah. One thing that CLG can do as well, you know, they do have the Elise, pick potential there. Darshan on Ekko always has a bit of a scary threat here with the Ekko. You know, from Fog of War, it's a lot easier to land the stun. He probably won't be with the rest of the team as they're baiting around Baron, but there are a couple tools that CLG do have to use where they can try and pick people from Fog of War if they, you know, really close their grip on the vision game. Oh, tank fight over blue.
Oh, Hauntzer gets it. Percent health damage with the W. GG, thank you very much. Still gets the knight away from Bjergsen, but you know what? Still take it. I think it's pretty good on Gragas.
Very good, yes.
Yeah.
Especially, well, he's maxed out on CDR. Nice.
Yeah, 30 from items, so depending on his runes, he maybe or maybe didn't need it.
I think you don't ruin it, but
depends on the player.
The longer this game goes, the more tense it becomes. This is the first big risk that CLG would be making by the
Rageblade!
And they even
it's going really
the mid lane.
fast.
And TSM are reacting. They've got Darshan back in base for a teleporter. They need it. Here comes the attempted play. Aphromoo has to zone out Svenskeren. That's Baron Nashor picked up by Xmithie the second time in a row. The knockback onto the team and an early pop on the Kindred ulti. Here comes the re-engage. YellowStar's the first kill. Darshan's back into it on a Hauntzer. Stixxay jumping away. But Bjergsen wants him. A couple of kills going back and forth. Xmithie also down. Hauntzer staying alive. And the team is running away. CLG lost 2.
Stixxay did not expect Bjergsen to be there on Tristana as he jumped over and had to flash over the blue wall, I think. They did come away with the Baron, but TSM have map control. They're going to try and get some turrets off the ground before CLG get back on their feet.
And this is where the triple marksman shine. They can shred through these turrets in a few seconds. That's multiple turrets off that Baron. Gold dead even after that one.
That was set up for success for CLG there, I feel like. Stixxay had stacked his Rage Blade fully on Baron, so he got to enter the fight with full stacks, and yet they still don't get it. Uh-oh, can they steal it with a... No.
TSM see a re-engage. They're going in with Stixxay again?
Looking for the play, but no teleports are up. And yeah, Trap's buying quite a bit of time. No engage to be had.
Ooh.
All CLG can do is just control mid waves.
This game is so tense. 33 minutes in, and one team fight could decide the championship. And yeah, that last fight, Kobe, they got the Baron. They snuck it essentially. They finished it first. Set up for success, but why doesn't this team fight go heavily in CLG's favor?
Aphromoo had to pop his ult early. That was pretty big. But Sven also pops the Kindred ultimate early.
Darshan was able to stay in long enough to then get his Ekko ultimate back without returning to his original TP position. But once again here, Stixxay sees Bjergsen right where he jumps and has to go away immediately. Yeah. He was hoping to be able to DPS from the side.
That's the crux of their team fight, and CLG spreading out like that, they lost all focus there.
Why did he jump over there in the first place?
They had vision of him because Aphromoo just knocked Bjergsen there. So CLG, if he was paying attention and he saw the entirety of the fight, then he would know that Bjergsen's there. But I think it was a reaction. He just came out of a stun. Stixxay was stunned, and he was like, I need to get out of here. Oof. But yeah, them spreading out like that was a hiccup, and you have no more chances.
Losing your uptime on a Lulu buff AD carry is just never a good situation for a team fight. So TSM were advantaged there. They got some mid turrets, but now CLG are back into the top side. And look at the damage they have with Tristana in general with a Baron buff on the squad. So now the overall Baron power play is plus 1,000. The net result of going for that play in the first place is CLG looking pretty good. But it's still an incredibly close game as they fight for vision control back and forth.
It's so tense.
Oh man, it's incredibly close here.
5th game, closest game yet. I mean, games 1 and 3 were pretty close too.
Yes.
But this is equally as close. And less action, which to me is building the tension right now because I'm just waiting for it to really get crazy.
Look at that kind of damage. It just required 3 auto attacks from Stixxay. Hit it again. Let the dragon buff hit it. If he ever gets a red, he can let the red buff hit it. There we go. 2 more hits. Down it goes. A 2,000 gold Baron power play. Net positive for CLG.
CLG keeps doing this right. They're going to extend themselves a much bigger lead, and they'd also force TSM to fight them. But TSM's tanks have gotten pretty strong. After the early deficits, they had 323 CS on a Hauntzer is no joke.
Well, I think you guys can stop walking back and forth. You know,
you've been pacing the whole game.
Me as well. You know, all the neutral objectives have been cleaned from the map. So TSM now, they're not forced into anything. They can play safely. They can just try and slowly move up their defensive vision, slowly get some control back in their own jungle. Hauntzer actually, even this far, is actually pretty far out. They did just see all of CLG recall, but TSM should be very cautious about how they play the next few minutes.
And Stixxay is way ahead of the curve right now. I mean, he's got the Rage Blade, but aside from that, he still has the same items as DoubleLift on top of Lulu, so he's a Rage Blade up on DoubleLift's Caitlyn.
And 2 levels.
And 2 levels, and a level 18 Lulu.
Yeah.
So his positioning in the fights is even more paramount. No more accidental rocket jumps into reverse flashes. He needs to be there for the damage uptime if CLG wants to take the championship.
And it's one of the stats that people always bring up with DoubleLift is that DPS. You know, he's topping the charts in North America. And it's because he's the type of player that always looks for those small trades, no matter where he is on the map. Always fits in an auto or an extra ability to try and harass the enemy down. Doesn't lose that DPS uptime. Uh-oh, here we go. We have a collapse on Darshan.
Yeah, Darshan forced to run away.
CLG making push in other
That Trist can kill that turret in a few seconds.
Mid-tier 2 is already dead, so now it's on the inhibitor. And yeah, it's several recalls, but look at this Darshan hoping to buy some time. Svenskeren looking to fight him one-on-one, but Guardian Angel Ekko will not die quickly. CLG push in the mid lane, then rotate back up to the top side. And are they here in time? Remember, Darshan has teleport, and he is going to use it right now. How much damage now can CLG get? He's saving explosive charge, but he's got to watch out. If Hauntzer flashed for that one, he would have gotten him.
Man, Caitlyn traps are just so good. Offensive and defensive sieging. Able to stall them out there, even though they had an extra few seconds, because YellowStar and Svenskeren was still moving up from the bottom side of the map. But
really
a
was.
crucial defense there from TSM.
Darshan had done a lot to stop TSM from recalling. And then the teleport onto the minion guaranteed that Caitlyn couldn't clear it, which was kind of telling Stixxay, yo, go proc your bomb on this turret. But he had to walk all the way around those traps. So really smart trap positioning by DoubleLift, and he seems to always have them down. Even when the rest of TSM was slow to be up there, DoubleLift was on time.
So TSM taking back control of their side of the map. CLG didn't really do any counter jungling aside from the red buff steal when they retreated from up there. They were Krugs they left up, for example. Darshan, as he runs back across the map, we already saw that Bjergsen got his own blue buff on the bot side. He's going to recall back. Rapid fire cannon's done for him, so 70% crit. Corki's got to feel good. Going towards Bloodthirster next, so he's going to be real hard to kill. DoubleLift working on his next item, which is going to be, I'm guessing, Mortal Reminder.
Yeah, I'm actually glad when all the AD carries approach 100% crit, so the end of this game isn't determined by who got more crits, since everybody has really, really high crit chance.
Getting a bunch.
There still is that possibility, but of course.
It's still not 100%. Who doesn't get the crit?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. Neither player able to build too greedily to get 100%, but that's sometimes available. Last whisper done on both of these marksmen. Still continued mirrored builds here. Stixxay should still be having a field day with his Lulu support. And again, gets whimsied, looks for a play, even popped the rapid fire, but couldn't find someone to auto-attack.
It is just so dangerous for him right now, even with he can be the Juggertrist, because they have no QSS, they have no, oh, he does have a QSS, never mind.
Yeah.
He can do that. He should be doing it more, I think, actually.
Yeah.
As far as being aggressive and getting poked, because even if Gragas goes for him, he could still get off the Mercurial and flash away.
And Gragas isn't even there. He doesn't even have to worry about the Gragas. So literally, it's just the marksman and Braum. He can play extremely aggressively when Gragas is trying to deal with Darshan.
Oh my god, TSM's going for Baron.
TSM going for the Baron risk, but it's been revealed by the blue trinket, so TSM can't get much more done. Svenskaren's already at half HP. Here comes the engage. Afro the front line, goes for the flash. Headbutt, pulverized, Sven pops the ulti. Stixxay knocked to the side, but not too much. Afro will die after this one, but here's the explosive charge. Exhausted to Stixxay. Does he have the damage? Trying to get away. He's low. He's alive still. Can they keep him up? Yes, they can. A double for Stixxay, but it's traded back. Bjergsen makes the big play. 3 alive for both teams, but not for much longer. Ekko trying to run. Darshan's beset by TSM, and he goes down.
3 marksmen up for TSM.
1 versus 3 for the marksman. Stixxay took none of them down, but he took some of the tanks down, and now they're going to just back and defend because they can't take the Baron after such a close fight. They should still go for it, I feel like, with the death timers, but they're playing it safe and not letting Huhi teleport to stop him.
It's so difficult to
it would be real
with
risky.
just marksmen. They get melted.
And they don't have enough lifesteal yet.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the replay first.
Look at the traps. So it's hard for them to get in. Aphromoo tanks as much as he can with the Alistar ultimate.
The one he gets in is Sven, the one who can pop the ultimate as well, and he immediately does, even though he's not close to getting executed.
Yeah, the exhaust had gone down under DoubleLift as well, and then at this point, Stixxay has the Lulu shields, but everyone is looking to focus him.
Yeah.
They're going right for Baron. The 3 marksmen did it.
Yep. With Stixxay and Darshan still dead.
The 3 musketeers for TSM prevail.
It's a very powerful push.
Yeah. Looking at that last fight though. I wanted to finish that replay.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Okay, here was the point I was going to just bring up, because CLG invested in 2 Guardian Angels. And so the way you want to use those Guardian Angels is obviously have those people be the ones starting out the fight. But Darshan wasn't there until they were down a man, down an Alistar ultimate. They want to have these Guardian Angels on the front line, soaking up damage, soaking up abilities, and just being on the front line so that Stixxay can get autos off. They want to be able to trade front lines because they have the Guardian Angels. But they weren't able to do that because they weren't in place in time. TSM did such a good job forcing at the Baron, setting up the traps, making Counter Logic Gaming fight on their terms to earn that Baron.
And so now TSM setting the pace, 2,000 gold up thanks to the Baron power play. Most of them have it here. One of them, I guess, hadn't respawned in time. That was actually Hauntzer, who was the one still dead.
Oh, the local gold goes to waste. I always cry.
He's got to be careful.
TSM.
One person getting picked off on CLG could spell the game.
Not worth 100 whatever gold, 25, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, here comes the Caitlyn offensive play. TSM finally on the aggressive. They got to watch out for the double TP. That's up for CLG. Although I don't expect the Lulu to teleport in behind because he needs to be there to protect Stixxay.
And how much poke Bjergsen get? Rapid fire cannon done on the Corki means he can get those long-range Trinity Force hits. And he can do like 900 damage with an auto attack in the right circumstances.
Stixxay's fine with melting the front line.
Yeah, he's built for it.
CLG are fine with defending. Uh-oh.
Here's the push in towards Hauntzer. Decent damage onto him. He's gonna jump right back out and be okay with this one. Stixxay is the one to watch as he rotates back and forth between these lanes as CLG looks to stop the TSM aggression. 1 minute left on the Baron buff. TSM hoping to get a real advantage with this push.
TSM just has so much more sustained damage in team fights than CLG. But they can't seem to get through this wave clear.
A lot of damage and Aphromoo down to half HP while they look for the stun, and they will not. Darshan doesn't go in. But the wave gets clear. This turret isn't taking very much damage. The smite by Xmithie gets rid of the cannon. Bjergsen does not risk going in for the shot himself.
This is a pretty dangerous outer turret to defend. This is oftentimes where you can get flanked from the back, maybe by a Gragas, and then lose the team fight. So, yeah CLG should smartly back away here.
All right, wow, look at that. Plus 4,000 gold now from the Baron power play. TSM have equalized the turret score, which was at one point, I think, 4-0, actually. Or something close to that.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's 3 dragons to 2, so we're not close to stacking up to number 6. Game 5, we're already 43.5 minutes into it. This is coming down to a late game team fight. This is coming down to one of those team fights where the death timers are so long that one team is able to push in.
It's coming down to what's going to be the final battle and a DPS check, and it's going to have to be Stixxay selling, I think, the Rage Blade for a static shiv if you want to do optimal damage, because he is the only real damage source. He's going to need optimal items, and that's going to be something he's got to reach at some point. DoubleLift going for a Bloodthirster, I believe, last item.
And Bjergsen's probably going for an Essence Reaver, so really offensive builds here by TSM, wanting to just cut through any of the Lulu shields or any of the tanking that CLG has had. And really, CLG doesn't have the greatest flanking ability, so that backline damage are feeling free to build much more offensively.
That'll be 90% crit chance for Bjergsen. Needing to build incredibly aggressively, and that's going to feel good for him.
Thornmail was completed onto Darshan, though.
Okay, he's full build now. He's got nothing else to buy. Almost a similar boat now for Xmithie. He's sitting on Glacial Shroud.
Neither does Hauntzer. Would the only thing would be to sell your dry Guardian Angel that the passive has already been used. Oh, whoa. Actually, I think that was a spectator bug, maybe. Is it back up?
It just came back up.
Both GAs are up now.
Okay.
Yeah. The active items stay super dark while they're on cooldown. And they all pop up when they're back. So Guardian Angel is up for both the frontliners, or 2 of the frontliners of CLG. Aphro doesn't have one. Does have a Frozen Heart, and that's a really big deal. But yeah, Randuin's are big.
Okay, so this dragon, nobody needs to die for this dragon, for either team. They don't have to commit too much for it. Really, this dragon is about getting positioning for the team fight.
TSM got it. That's number 3. And the traps are already up. They're already there too soon for CLG to respond. And here comes Hauntzer. Looks for the play, gets headbutted, and gets pulverized around. They knock in Stixxay, but he's going to be all right with this one. Now into the front line. Hauntzer taking so much damage. Going to get saved by Kindred for now. Now they've got to wait for the rapid fire to be back up. In goes them again. Svenskeren forced to flash away. Darshan has GA, gets popped around. Knocked back now by Buster Shot as well. Bjergsen is low. Stixxay gets hit up, but QSS is out. He's still going to attack. He's trying to reset. He's going in for the resets. YellowStar got another one. He's going for 3. Stixxay. They can go in. Tristana.
Xmithie's popping up from his GA. Svenskeren's going to try and stop him, but he's the only one.
He's going to go down. That's it. The ace for CLG. The clean hit from Stixxay.
And CLG proved you can change the players, but the faith remains. And they're going to walk to their 2nd consecutive North American LCS championship.
What a beautiful play to put the faith on the rookie, the Rage Blade Tristana from Stixxay. Put it all in his hands. Give him the rapid fire, give him the resets, and give him his first ever North American championship in his first season on CLG. Oh.
What a series. And what an ending. 46 minutes in, we said it was going to come down to one of those huge team fights. We spent the whole game and the whole series looking at Stixxay not have quite enough. But then at the end, the team comes together, they empower Stixxay, and he takes him home.
It was actually so surprising to me that TSM forced that. TSM had such a big advantage when they set up the Caitlyn traps. but Hauntzer went all in on Stixxay. Stixxay got off a good rocket jump. He buffered it with the Gragas ultimate coming in. He got right out of it. And then CLG were able to re-engage using the time around the Guardian Angels that they've been building all series long.
I completely agree with you on that, but with this stage and this moment, it was CLG who made the right decisions. Absolutely, TSM should not have continued on that initiation after they didn't catch the hyper carry that was on CLG.
The tension in that game.
But CLG win their second straight championship.
And the confetti is all deserved. The accolades are all deserved. And the question was, did CLG make the right choice when they tried to fix what wasn't broken? Out goes Pobelter, out goes DoubleLift, in comes Huhi and Stixxay. And they had been a top team for most of the split. They're the only one to beat Immortals in the regular season. You knew that element was there. And then after all 5 games, for both playoff series, against Liquid as well as against TSM, CLG had the grit and the determination to make it and take it home.
And it wasn't easy. And there were stumbles along the way. Stixxay had poor laning phases in a lot of these games, but with the focus and the support of the team, that's why the team with the best AD carry doesn't just win. It's the team with the AD carry who can work best with his team.
And he worked so well. So to hear from Counter